It's 10 to 7. It's open to rave reviews. It's already been tipped for Oscar success. How much, though, does the film The King's Speech tell us about the way people who stammer are treated today?
It's thought the problem affects about 750,000 people in Britain. In a moment, we'll speak to Leys Geddes. Leys, the chairman of the British Stammering Association. Morning, welcome to the programme. First, though, let's take a look at a moment from the film. And this is 1925. The future King George VI has to make a live speech at Wembley Stadium.
I have received from His Majesty
Leys is here now. Hello. Thanks very much for coming. You were at the premiere, so you saw that.
I was at the premiere, yes.
And you were saying as that clip was playing out, I know exactly what it must have been going through.
Because in all my time, I haven't ever seen anything in the cinema where the audience actually empathises with how it is if you have a stammer. And I know only too well, if you're there and you have an audience in front of you, how you cannot get out the word, and you kind of feel, if only I could do that, and you have feelings of insufficiency that you should be able to do this thing. And then as you get stuck on the word, you're trying to get it out, and you stare out at the audience, and half of them are staring at you, seeing what you're doing, and the other half are staring at the ground, and you lose your audience.
How many people have a stammer nowadays?
Almost 750,000. So that's a heck of a number.
Yeah.
I thought what was interesting about the film is Lionel Logue, who was sitting in the audience at Wembley listening to the King speaking at the time, and then became his speech therapist, focused quite a lot on what he believed were the psychological causes, going back to his father, saying, talking to him as a young child and saying, "Get it out, man." Do we know what causes stammer?
Yes, the underlying cause is the neural circuits in the brain for speech wire up incorrectly, and therefore that creates the circumstance. And then after that, of course, it depends how you're treated. So if you have the underlying condition, as the King did here, and you're teased and you're shouted at and you're told spit it out, it gets harder and harder to talk. So your stammering kind of turns into a syndrome if you're not awfully careful, and then everyone tends to think it's your own fault, that you could control it easily yourself, and you can control it to a certain extent, but you can't control it completely all the time. Awfully few adults are able to do that.
How much help can you get on the NHS then, or treatment?
Our view is that the NHS, it isn't all it ought to be. In certain areas, there isn't any therapy at all for speech. That's because it isn't an area of high interest. It comes back to that same thing again. If you had me on here every day, and I'm sure you wouldn't, but if you did, it would always be in the news, and that would have an influence on the NHS. It would have an influence on everyone. People would say, God, there are 750,000 of them out there, and we don't hear anything from them.
Do you think this film then will make a difference? You sound very positive about the film.
I have to be, because as I say, we haven't had anything like this for ages. But it will only be there for a short time. For a short time, everyone will be saying, yes, we're into stammering, we have to understand. It's excellent to be here, but it's great. But I know that it will only last for a short time, and then after that, it's up to us to hopefully sustain it. How we do that, I don't know. Because I said we aren't ideally equipped to do it.
All right. Leys, thanks very much
Thank you very
for coming
much.
to speak to us this morning.
It's a pleasure. I'm awfully grateful you asked me.
Not at all. Time's coming up to, actually it's gone 5 to 7. Coming up later on this morning's programme. It's the concert tour, which has got thousands of school children singing their hearts out. We're talking to two of the people involved, aged 10 and 11. They'll be here just after 8:30.
Time now to get the news, weather and travel where you are. See you in a couple of minutes.